Oh, nice to see a familiar face.
Ichuta.
How rude. That sounds like an auto unit. I'm wondering... Hello? Oh, my. Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't mean to intrude. No, please don't get up.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Hello my Trigger Happy friends, my name is Stevie Cade and welcome to Film Trigger. In today's video we are continuing our journey, reviewing all the Star Wars movies in chronological order leading up to the release of The Rise of Skywalker. If you haven't joined us in this series and you want to get caught up, just click here. But before we jump in, if you could, hit that subscribe button and the bell ding thing so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Alright guys, so grab your keyboards, head down to the comments section, and let's review Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back.
A big, new, sprawling space adventure in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Coming to your galaxy next summer.
I love this movie. I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. I had so much fun with this, so I'm gonna immediately jump into what I like about this film. Number one, the cinematography is the best I've seen yet. I'm specifically talking about when Darth Vader fights Luke Skywalker in the ending lightsaber battle.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi.
The blue and orange complementary color palette was so satisfying and cryptic, it felt intense. And also throughout the movie, I kind of noticed this pyramid or triangle shape that you consistently see throughout the film, from little things like that little bubble thing that Darth Vader's in, and also the windows. And there's an actual shot of the spacecrafts where it kind of does the same thing. It really gave this movie a thumbprint. And the overall dark tone, especially in the third act, just gave me the creeps, man. Like the way they use the shadows and the hallways to kind of create a distorted image, and even that one little pane of glass that kind of looks like a clock tower window. But yes, the cinematography on point. I also really like how big this movie is. All the different worlds we experience throughout, like the ice planet Hoth, where we get to experience this snow monster thing, which is neat and new and weird. I'm still really confused on how he actually got Luke attached to the ceiling of that cave. I don't know. He had to melt the ice to get him up there, but does he have a torch? Did he use his lightsaber? Would he know how to use a lightsaber? I need answers. And we are also introduced to the completely useless AT-walkers. Is that what they're called? Or AT walkers? Those big tall things with the long legs. More on why they're useless later. And we get the Tauntaun stuffing scene. All iconic shots. Right there at one little ice planet. And then we jump over to the swamp planet over in Dagobah. And this is a supreme set design. Like, I don't feel like I'm on a set or watching them be on a set. I really believe them to be in a swamp in this scene. And it's all practical, so it seems even more real in that aspect. Feels like it'd be sticky there. Very sticky. Like a swamp, I guess. Yeah. Little fun fact though, the swamp that R2-D2 kind of jumps out of in that scene was actually George Lucas's unfinished swimming pool in his backyard. Actually, I think that's one of the only scenes that George Lucas directed himself. And we don't visit just planets, we also go down an asteroid hole, where we get to experience unknown dangers like the Exogorth, or Space Slug as it's also known. I personally wanted to call it Astroworms. Yeah, Astroworm, I like that better. And then we jump over to Cloud City, where we meet the smooth-talking Lando Calrissian.
Hello, what have we here?
Leia.
Welcome, Leia. All right.
All these places, while also having a space epic, to me, is the most Star Wars feeling movie I've seen yet. I mean, this movie is Star Wars as fuck, man. It doesn't hold back on the risk and dangers, and it has high stakes, like the torture of Han Solo.
You never even asked me any questions.
Luke almost freezing to death. Darth Vader constantly killing his crew members.
Yes, my lord.
Make ready to land our troops beyond their energy field. You are in command now, Admiral Jet.
Thank you, Lord Vader.
Who wants to work for the Empire? One day when I grow up, I'm gonna be the one that Darth Vader doesn't kill. R2-D2 almost drowns, C-3PO gets completely dismantled, nobody is safe! And that makes for some good movie watching. Another thing I like about this movie is that it has heart. I mean, every time Chewie makes a noise, it breaks my heart. You just want to give him a hug and be like, oh. By the way, have we found out any use for that satchel he wears? I haven't seen him use it for anything. Let me know in the comments below if you know what that thing does or is. Please. Also, Luke's integrity to always do the right thing, even if it means going against the guidance of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, which we'll get more into that here in just a little bit. Also, Lando Calrissian's risky move to save Princess Leia and crew, even though he is kind of the one that handed them over in the first place. Fucking pirates. Even Darth Vader shows a little bit of heart when he negotiates the benefit of bringing Luke Skywalker to the dark side.
He's just a boy. Obi-Wan can no longer help him. If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
And then we have the relationship between Han Solo and Princess Leia.
I love you.
I know.
He knows. Which leads me to the characters. Everyone becomes more fleshed out in this sequel. We see a more mature Luke Skywalker, and it's not odd, like it's a natural evolution from where he came from in A New Hope. Leia is still kicking ass and giving orders, and we kind of catch a peek into the soft nougat of Han Solo's tough exterior. And then we're introduced to a few new characters. Well, new to people who watched it in the 70s, not new to me because I'm watching it in chronological order. But we come face to face with the mysterious and wise Jedi Master known as Yoda.
R2!
I love this version of Yoda. I'm totally cool with him being a quirky weirdo, even though he wasn't that way in the prequels. In my opinion, that's more of a result of him being isolation for so long after being exiled. I think it accidentally makes sense. Or maybe it's not accident. Maybe that's like one of the things George Lucas actually paid attention to in making the prequels. And then we got to meet Darth Sidious. This is when something magical happened. Something I didn't expect. When they introduced Sidious as the Sith leader in this movie, I knew his backstory. Same with Yoda. Even though the prequels sucked, they did create that mythology for me. So that really helped. Like I really felt like I was a part of this world now. Like I knew how they got to where they are at this point in this movie. Unlike A New Hope, where I felt a complete disconnect from the films, now the mythology of everything kind of comes together, which tells me that this movie is the Star Wars movie. Every Star Wars movie moving on needs to meet the level of The Empire Strikes Back. And I've never felt that way with Star Wars before, but now I'm starting to get it. Oh no. I think I'm beginning to like these movies. Maybe just this one. Let's not jump the gun here, right? And then we have the score. John Williams' score. Oh, that was a weird reaction. But yeah, the score, just like in A New Hope, was amazing. But now we have the Imperial March. Yes, I love it. And John Williams, man, listen, I'm kind of new to this whole movie reviewing thing. So watching movies in a different light, I'm beginning to learn a lot more about the behind the scenes than I ever had before, but now that's starting to change. Upon my research, this guy is responsible for like almost every movie in my childhood. E.T., Home Alone, Hook, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Superman. Oh my God, this man is a genius. That makes me look forward to what's to come in the future, at least musically, but he also did score the prequels and I wasn't a big fan of those. We'll see. And this is also the movie that brought the lightsaber game. As the original trilogy goes, this is where lightsaber battles begin.
You'll find I'm full of surprises.
They stepped it up quite a bit. And the special effects in this movie are so good. Way better than the prequels that had all that CGI money dumped into them. Considering this was made decades before the prequels, they look incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, there are some things I'm on the fence about. Number one, Luke Skywalker's integrity. I'm not sure if him disobeying Yoda and Obi-Wan's request for him to stay and complete his training in lieu of helping his friends is a good thing or a bad thing. and that's why I'm on the fence about it.
When you will be tempted by the dark side.
Yes. To Obi-Wan you listen.
But I've learned so much since then. Master Yoda, I promise to return and finish what I've begun. You have my word.
There was no consequences for not listening to them and leaving. So does that mean he's a reckless rebel? Or is that what makes him different as the chosen one, if you will, that they thought Anakin was supposed to be? He follows his heart instead of his fear. Or was he following his fear? I don't know. It raised a lot of questions for me, and that's why it's on the fence for me here. Now we come to this section I like to call interference. I created this part of the review specifically for Star Wars. This is where I dive into watching this in chronological order, how it flows all together, how it doesn't flow all together. I can't really blame these movies for these problems, but I can blame the overall saga for them, or it could be good things too. Like, for example, like the CGI usage. It is way better than it was in A New Hope. There's some cartoony establishing shots, especially in the Cloud City, but nothing major. And one thing that I actually did like they added was Ian McDiarmid's version of Sidious. Originally, it was like this old woman, and Clive Ravel originally did the voice. I went back and watched the original footage, and he looks weird.
There is a great disturbance in the Force.
If they would have kept that original clip in, it would have completely taken me out of the movie because everything I'd seen before leading up to this point. That was a good thing. That was a good interference. But on the other side, Obi-Wan Kenobi saying that Yoda is the one that trained him.
There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me.
Completely discounting Qui-Gon Jinn, which further proves that Qui-Gon Jinn should not have even been in the prequels. I thought his character seemed odd to begin with. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me why George Lucas wouldn't take this line, specifically this line, in consideration in making the prequels. You can't just add a person when he's totally not acknowledged in the other movies. And that's the point of the interference. Now for what I don't like about this movie. The Battle of Hoth. Yeah, that's right. The Battle of Hoth. Where the AT&T walkers or the AT walkers or whatever the fuck they're called. Who designed these things? Who designed them? Vader needs to choke that person out. Nothing about them is useful in an offensive attack. They're slow, easy to take down. As a matter of fact, the entire invasion of Hoth by the Empire was lazy. It was more like a warning shot, like, hey, we're coming. Better get your things and go. Like, come on, where's the TIE fighters? Where's the spacecrafts? Where's anything that moves faster than from 0 to 60 in 2 weeks? I also didn't like the inconsistent hologram effects. I mean, they were pretty good in A New Hope. What's the deal with this one? Like, sometimes they look good, sometimes they look like, well, they look like this.
Yes, Lord Vader. I've reached the main power generator.
That's more of just me being petty, so since I'm being petty, I can't stand the ranking bars worn by the Imperial soldiers. They look like Dayquil NyQuil capsules. Like, like they just opened up a pack of Dayquil NyQuil and just, there you go. You work for the Empire now. But overall, I loved this movie. It was a great Star Wars movie. I had fun from beginning to end. The pacing was perfect and is by far my favorite Star Wars movie so far. And the only one not directed by George Lucas. Coincidence? I think not. But for all these reasons, I'm giving this movie an A+.
That was wonderful. Bravo. I loved that. Oh, it was great.
That's right, the top of the grading system. That's where this movie lands. Now let's see if this can continue into the Return of the Jedi. I hope so. I hope now that we got that Star Wars formula that they keep using that. But, I mean, they had that Star Wars formula with the prequels and they didn't. But George Lucas is out for the next one, I believe, right? Yeah, he didn't direct the third one, so I have high hopes. Let me know what your thoughts were in the comments below. Be sure to check out some more of my videos right here. And as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
R2!